and welcome to my channel. I'm Helen of Helen Jeanne Designs and Hope-Filled Journals. And today I just wanted to hop on and share with you a little bit what I've been working on. I've been making these little journals, and I wanted them to be somewhat rustic looking, and I wanted to do something with dried flowers. So I put the dried flowers on the cover, and I was trying to decide how I wanted to do the binding of them. And this one I did the pamphlet stitch on, and they're just filled with coffee dyed papers, just little blank journals, and the cover's made of cardstock, so they're very simple. And I decided on this one that I wanted to try something a little different because I didn't really like the pamphlet stitch as much, so I wanted it to be just a little bit more natural looking. So I decided to try to use this muslin fabric, and it's pretty much the same journal, only I'm tying the papers in with the muslin fabric. And what I did is I added some fabric to the edge here just to make it a little more durable. I might decide to maybe put some Mod Podge or something on the cover just to give it a little bit more strength, but I've just been experimenting a bit. I did the dried flowers. I used handmade paper as the backing. So it's very, very soft and natural. And what I did is I cut this with my Sizzix die cutter. And actually I would turn it this way. And then I put the dried flowers on, and I covered it with acetate, and I sewed this border. What I did is I designed this on the computer. Kind of a natural looking. This is purple because I was running out of ink for the back, but it won't show. But I want it to look just kind of very natural. So I was just going to show you a little bit about how I made them. Now I've gathered a few supplies. I wanted this to be a pretty short video. So what I did is I went ahead and I got my supplies together. And this is coffee dyed paper, and I already cut it. And basically what I did is I cut it, I believe it's 5 by 8, and folded it in half. And this is, it's 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm folding it in half, and I used a corner trimmer to round off the edges. And I cut this on my Sizzix, and I put the hole in the middle, and that's going to be, this is just a little bit smaller than what this size is. I have these rectangle dies that I used that are different sizes, so it made it easier for me to cut this to size. And then I've got, I went ahead and cut my acetate. I have a sheet of acetate that I got on Amazon. This is the acetate that I have. You can purchase this on Amazon, that's where I got it. And I'm sure there's other places online that you can get it. I'll put the link below if you need to get some of your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue my flowers. I had some dried flowers that I had purchased. I also purchased a flower press, and I'm in the process of drying some of my own from our yard. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue on the flower, just to kind of tack it down a little bit. Once I put the acetate on, I'm actually going to sew it, or if you if you wanted to, you could just use a little bit more glue. But I just basically want to tack it down just so it doesn't move. I'm going to have the acetate covering it, so I'm just using a tiny bit of glue, and I'm just going to center it in the midst of my paper here. And I've got this pretty pink flower that I'm going to use. I just purchased a flower press, and I actually have some flowers drying currently, but these are some that I purchased. They're very pretty. So now that's kind of tacked on a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with this acetate, and I'm going to take the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch around it, and I'm going to stitch this frame onto it. So I'm going to stitch around here, and so I will go do that and then come right back. Okay, so I sewed the acetate on to this little frame that I made. Again, it's purple on the back just because my printer was running out of ink, but it's all tacked down, and so this is going to be my cover. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this onto the cover. I guess I should have done it while I was at the sewing machine. I'm going to sew this on next, and I made these things to glue inside. It says this journal belongs to, and what I'm going to do is, because when I sew this on, obviously the stitches are going to show through, so I'm going to use this to cover that. And then my next step after that is going to be to glue some of this fabric onto the spine, just to give it a little bit more durability. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I did all my sewing, so I tacked this frame on, and you can see the stitching on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it up with this. So I'm going to glue that on, and I'm also going to glue on some fabric in the center so that when I put my paper in, it'll have a little bit more durability. Now I really think I may put a little bit of Mod Podge or something on here after I'm done, just to give it a little more strength, but I'm not going to do that now or I won't be able to complete it. It would actually probably be better to do it ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this off camera. So I glued on the back, and I glued this fabric on the spine just to give it a little bit more durability. And I used the tacky glue to glue the paper on, and I used the fabric tack to glue the fabric on. So, and I also I had this other one started, so I did the sewing for this one, and I did the same. So I'm at the same spot. These are some forget-me-nots, dried forget-me-nots, very pretty. So I'm going to take my hole punch. Now this is a small hole punch. I believe it's like 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to punch holes on the spine on both ends. That's a little bit hard because I have the fabric here, but I'm going to try to line it up the best I can. I want to get it as much on the crease as possible. It's a little hard since I put the fabric on because I also can't see what I'm doing. Pretty close. It's okay if it's not exact. These are meant to be just little journals that don't have to be really precise. They're just fun little paper journals. There we go. Now what I do is I have this ribbon, or it's not ribbon, it's muslin fabric that I tore off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke holes in the paper. So what I did to make the holes in the paper is I took my hole punch, just like I did on the cover, and I just I put a couple pages together, and I just used my hole punch. And then I would put my muslin ribbon through. I'm going to show you on this one. So what I did here is I put the holes in the paper, and then this took a little while to get the fabric through the holes, but I put one side I put through here, and then it came out the hole in the spine. And the other end I put on this side, and I didn't use a needle. What I did is I just did the ends and just basically worked my way until I could put it through. So that's what I did. So there you have it. So I have this, and then what I plan on doing is just tying a bow or a knot and maybe cutting it off. But I think I'm just going to tie a bow for right now, keep it together. Now this fabric is fraying quite a bit, so I'll probably have to cut off some loose ends, and then I would cut this off here. But there you have it, a cute little journal. Just places plenty of space to write. And the amount of papers I put in here, I used 16 sheets, which would be 32, so I believe it gives you 64 sides of writing. There's the center. And it smells really nice. It's coffee dyed paper. Very cute little journal. And I have these little tags that I made. Words, journal, notes, hopes, dreams, prayers. This would make a nice little prayer journal. And so what I would do is just glue this on. But you can do all kinds of things with them. This is one that's plain. And then I have these two that I need to put together. So I will do that off camera. But there you have it, a cute little project. Doesn't take too long to make. Sometimes these projects actually take a little longer than you anticipate. These actually did take me a little bit longer because I designed the paper, figured out how the sizes I was going to use. So it did take me a little while, but now that I've done it, it wouldn't take me too long. I was thinking about adding some of these to my Etsy shop. And if I decide to do that, I'll put the link below. But I want to thank you for watching, and please hit the like and subscribe button and the little bell if you want to be notified of future videos. But happy crafting and happy journaling. Talk to you later.